Tonight on Country Squire Radio, we're talking about a loss that the tobacco industry has faced. Not necessarily the one that you're thinking about, but we'll also talk about that as well. Plus, we got a pipe question of the week geared towards new pipe smokers and what tobaccos they should try. Quick fire questions, listener feedback, and you know what? A lot of fun along the way. Come join us, won't you, on another episode of Country Squire Radio. Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Beau.
And I'm John David.
JD!
Hey, Beau. Good evening, man.
Man, good evening to you. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. It's been a crazy week, dude. It's just been nuts. It's, golly, man, International Pipe Smoking Week. Mercy. I mean,
Man, it was crazy.
That's the only word I have for it is just mercy. I feel like Elvis needs to come back just to write a song or something, man. It's just it was amazing and has been amazing and is amazing. It's gosh, we
did you learn that when you put out deals that good, people buy?
That they do,
and in droves.
That they do, and you know, for a shop that's of course like ours, it has a lot of history, but also is experienced over the past 5-7 years a rebirth, so to speak, and a bigger online presence. It's we're learning how to keep up with it. I mean, we really are, and it's my goodness, man. I mean, we gosh, I can't tell you how many dozens of pipes we moved last week, and maybe over 100. I don't know. I mean, it was just it was tremendous. You know, we just had such a great turnout. So many of our dear friends, Country Squire Radio listeners, and others just supported us last week and bought a bunch of good tobaccos, good pipes, and dude, we've just been up to our eyeballs in mail orders. It's been really something. So
that's awesome,
we're very fortunate and golly, just incredibly thankful.
Making it rain tobacco.
I tell you what, we have blended so much tobacco over the past week that this shop has not been messier in a long time.
You got to watch that blending, man. If you blend too much, it'll make you go blind.
It'll make you go blind if you start blending, and especially when people catch you doing it.
Catch you blending.
That's right,
man. Well, hey, not only was it International Pipe Smoking Day, but we should basically just call this weekend kind of the first ever pipe pilgrimage day, because
oh my gosh,
correct me if
it was out of control.
I'm wrong, but this is the first time that we had two groups make their pipe pilgrimage on the same day at the exact same time without any coordination. Okay. It just kind of happened.
So we had that. We had it happen before, but not to this scale. Like this was kind of out of control. Like, so it was really awesome. We had scheduled for a couple months, almost like a month and a half. Our the New Orleans Pipe Club, which we have a lot of really close friends in that pipe community, and so many good friends down there, and they were some of our first regular listeners, as a matter of fact. Them and the Austin guys, they were some of those guys were some of our first regular kind of listeners and part of our community. And of course, New Orleans is close. So we developed some tight knit relationships.
They're like our cousins down there, man.
Yeah, like our
probably literally.
No, probably right. Literally, it's probably good thing that we didn't marry into that. Which in Mississippi you see a lot more than that than you probably should.
You gotta watch out. In Mississippi they make you take a butt blood test for that reason. I think we're one of the last states in the union.
Hey, you know we just found out actually that you don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, and thank God.
I know, right? If you're new, if this is your first episode of Country Squire Radio, you thought you're tuning in to talk about pipes and pipe tobacco, and little do you know that John David's getting married in 3 weeks.
That's right.
And we found out that you don't have to take a blood. It's a good thing though that my fiance was born in Norfolk, Virginia, and grew up in Arizona and Texas, and so there's just no possibility at all. No possibility. We're safe.
Her middle name's Cole. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Just go with it. It's fine.
She looks a lot like my Aunt Bessie. Right. It's all coincidence.
You mean cousin Bessie? Oh,
right.
No.
Anyway, what do they say about Mississippi? We care for our ex-wives because they're still our cousins, or something like that.
So Louisiana, which suffers from a lot of the same situation.
I know, right? So anyway, all right.
The NOLA pipe group.
All right, so we had a long time planned trip from our friends at the New Orleans Pipe Club. That was great. So our friend Mark Van Vranken, Ryan Smith, and Jared Purvis all made their pilgrimage on Saturday. That was planned. What I had forgotten about, and this this is really special. Was that man? So y'all remember we did our custom cob competition?
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
obviously we it made a big deal of that this past winter with you know, Christmas time.
Check
Missouri,
out our Christmas special for more details on that.
that's right. So Missouri Meerschaum, you know, they sponsored our custom cob competition. We you know, encouraged everyone to make custom corncob pipes. We had those sent in, and you know, they were dazzled up, painted. It was just had some amazing pipes, and we raffled those off and gave the proceeds to the Ronald McDonald House. Well, anyway, my fiance really liked one of those pipes.
Which one?
It was the one with the manger scene on it,
beautiful.
which was
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
stunning. And I can't remember who bought it or how much it went for, but you know, we were able to sell that pipe and give the money away to a good cause. And so she really liked one of those pipes. Okay, so she had me reach out to the painter of that pipe, whose name is Liz. Actually, she lives in
Right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Texas. And Liz, she wanted Liz to paint. She wanted me to ask Liz if she would paint a corncob pipe in the shape to look like a groom, and one to look like a bride.
Dude.
And this was to go. This is to go on top of our wedding cake.
Seriously?
We're getting married in 3 weeks, and we're gonna have a wedding cake, and we're gonna have corncob pipes on top of it because it's John David Cole. So so anyway, she wanted that, and so anyway, Josh is Liz's husband. He's an avid pipe and cigar smoker, listener of Country Squire Radio. What's funny is his friend Zach, who also lives in the same part of Texas over there. They were pipe smoking and fishing buddies and whatnot, and they were like, you know what, so Liz painted these pipes for us, Josh's wife, and Josh was like, you know what, me and Zach are gonna load up and we're gonna hand deliver these pipes to John David at the Squire.
Man.
And so they came Saturday all the way from Longview, Texas,
bearing gifts
to hand deliver these beautiful pies. So we had this incredible, like, it was just so random and organic and perfect. It was
the coming together of the SCC.
New
Texas,
Orleans,
you had LA, Louisiana, you had Mississippi.
It was just beautiful. And so we had this Texas representation and New Orleans, and of course the shop on Saturday was just full of people, and there was a good crew here, and it was really exciting. But anyway, man, it was great. So big thanks to man, Josh White and Zach Lindbergh from East Texas, and then Mark Van Vranken and Ryan Smith and Jared Purvis who came up from New Orleans. It was just downright awesome, man. We had such a great time.
I mean, but
it meant the world to us.
I mean, but we want to see the pipes, right?
All right,
I mean,
all
like,
right. So I got them here. So yeah. So these look at this beautiful display. If you're watching live,
it's a gold box, y'all.
It's a gold box, had a beautiful bow on it, and we'll take better pictures so you'll be able to see. But check this out. The bride's pipe has a little veil. It's got a little veil. It's got a little veil on it. And,
don't catch that on fire.
And that's right. And it's got Nina's wedding dress with her the flowers that she intends to use for her bouquet. And then mine has this tuxedo. And it's got the sunset on the back because we're getting married at nighttime. And these
look
are
at that. It does have this. Wow.
Isn't that fantastic?
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
And these are Missouri Meerschaum Diplomat pipes that just had, big, kind of simple looking pipes with deep bowls. And so, man, it was just awesome. These are great pipes to have a big blank canvas. And anyway, Liz, when she painted them, she put the date on there and everything. They're just really special.
Oh my gosh.
Going on and on about it. But anyway, it's these are really special. It's something that, once we're on the other side of this wedding, we'll be able to put in a shadow box and keep, and it's just something kind of fun.
You serve each other the cake, but then you lock arms and then you light each other's pipes.
And they light each other's pipe. Trust me, there will be lighting each other's pipe.
By the way, so we've talked about the dress pipe. This is definitely the wedding dress.
That is the wedding dress pipe.
It
is literally a dress pipe. Right.
I love it.
Anyway,
plus, Phil's gonna get a kick out of the fact that you have Missouri Meerschaums on top of your.
I know, right? I know.
We got to take plenty of pictures.
It was funny. Josh and Zach, they had this last minute idea. They were actually gonna go and steal one of Zach's kids' Barbies and cut off some of the hair to put on top of mine. and
not the Ken doll.
No, not the Ken doll. No, the actual Barbie, right? And so mine, just to complete the tobacco Jesus, look. So they were going to have the draping, flowing hair, but they decided again, you don't want to ruin your precious daughter's Barbie doll for some schmuck on podcast.
Well, there are pipes out there with hair involved. I'm thinking, of course, of Monstrosity.
Oh yeah, yeah, our
and
friend Oli Sylvester.
yeah, what he's done and experimenting in that regard, and like they have their place, but that would have been a creepy situation.
Yeah, yeah, it would have been great. It would have been funny. But anyway, we had a great time this weekend. Thanks for everyone for for coming down. We just had such a good time. We're always pleased to have folks. These pipe pilgrimages, they're of course they honor us. They honor Beau and I both, and we're always amazed that people make this trip to Little Jackson, Mississippi. We've become something of a kind of a stopping point along your pipe journey here in the United States, and had folks from out of the country and everything. We're always curious to think like, man, people have this mind built up, like what are they getting into, and then they come in this dusty old pipe shop and there's ridiculous people sitting around telling goofy
you
stories.
get all the characters,
man. It's just that's what it is. But man, when you do come here and make the journey, you're very welcome, and we will take really good care of you.
Yeah,
so, we're very grateful.
With the NOLA guys in particular, we went out for dinner, and
yeah.
And so we were talking about it. We talked about one individual that I was like, so y'all met the hurricane. They're like, oh, that was him. All right, we thought that was him, but we weren't sure until you just confirmed that that's the actual.
Yeah, and I think I think actually the our Josh and Zach on their way back to Texas, he said they spent about half their trip just repeating things that the hurricane said while they were here.
Yeah,
right. And I think you even have already posted memes, but possibly about
saw
him.
That. I saw
right,
that.
And so that's good stuff. Yeah, we're glad people can experience that, so they can know how to pray for our souls every day. Yeah.
Well, look, man, the community is going. The community is growing. We've actually got a new Squire member joining the International Country Squire Radio Pipe Club, Adam Larkin. And
Adam Larkin.
I think I pronounced that correctly, which is funny because Larkin seems like you could take it in a couple different directions. Larkine. The E is loud.
You're reaching, man. You're reaching. But yeah, it's man. Regardless, we're very, very thankful for Adam.
Absolutely. And then also, man, so I think we failed to mention this, but last month, February, we had some Squire members hit their 1 year mark. So their names will be going up on the plaques, man. We've got Travis Robinson and Tyler Patrick.
Golly, Travis and Tyler, we have already ordered your plaques to go on the wall here at the Country Squire. I've got a lot of plaques to get up on the wall. Hadn't gotten to them all yet because I have to go buy some more adhesive to get them up there. But we've got a lot of plaques from loyal Country Squire radio listeners to get up on the wall of honor. And Travis and Tyler, we are so thankful for y'all. We wouldn't be here without you. And and man, your names will forever be listed here as honorary wall people. wall people.
So,
what do you want to be able to tell your grandkids you're a wall people?
You want to look. You were amongst you were amongst the first year of members of the Country Squire Radio International Pipe.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
And for more information on that, by the way, if you want to learn more, go to patreon.com/Country Squire Radio or just countrysquireradio.com. Click on join the club. It's got all the information there. We'd love to have you join that community as well. All right, man. So we've got kind of a heavy topic tonight, but we've also got some heavy news going on in the pipe world right now that we really need to address.
That's right.
Our live numbers are higher than they've ever been. I think that has to do with some of the news coming out right before we fired up the mics here.
Yeah, interesting. Over the past several weeks, of course, back in January, we had begun discussing problems at the company McClelland that we're all big fans of and love dearly. Love not just their products but also the people there. One thing about the pipe industry is we support good people. if you're a unlikable person and you're in this industry, you're probably not going to make it very far because pipe people support good people.
That's right. And when you say problems with that company, you're talking specifically about outside of their control.
That's right.
Not problems with the management.
That's right. Yeah. Leaf problems and industry, just mechanics and all that. And so, that was kind of the first domino to fall was 5100 and our favorite red Virginia that of course we and many other tobacconists across the country used to blend with, and so many pipe smokers have learned to love over the decades and smoke straight as well. And so for a few weeks there, everything we have shared with the Country Squire radio community and the pipe smoking community at large, everything we have said, we have made sure that it is come straight from McClelland. We've been very clear about that. We wanted you guys to know that everything we are sharing has come straight from McClellan. We haven't repeated any kind of hearsay or gossip or anything that we've heard from other
And there was a lot
folks.
of
And
that going
there
around.
was a lot of it going around. And so we, out of respect for the McNeils, the McClellan Company, and then also just, prudence, I guess is the right word, just to make sure we were communicating the right stuff without jumping the gun. We just really wanted to make sure everything we were getting was from the McNeils and from the folks at McClellan. So, but anyway, today. Many other folks as well have reported, and we are now reporting too that that McClellan this week will be shutting its doors. Yeah,
Man,
and so it's just a really it's a really sad season. This is a very sad time and a very incredible marker for the American tobacco industry. That McClelland, uh, I think it's no secret how big of fans Beau and I both are of McClelland. But these are, Mike. He's probably the best blender America ever produced.
mm,
And that's. I mean, think about what I just said there, right? I mean, this is someone that has just really been a force over the past 40 years, but has created some amazing products and also pushed the envelope in certain areas and have had incredibly discriminating tastes to the point where they refuse to use a lot of leaf and to make a lot of product because of just stubborn devotion to good quality. And they're tired. The McNeils are tired. They feel like they can't find the leaf that they require to make the quality product that they intend to make. And so they're gonna close house, man. They are. And we wish Mike and Mary well. We really do. We're incredibly sad to hear of McClellan's shuttering its doors. And we wish that it would go on and all that. But man, we wish them well. We really do. They have been friends of the Country Squire for as long as we've been around. I mean, we've been. Gosh, I guess the shop here has been open longer than McClellan's been open, but we've carried their products
wow.
since day one, and love them. Have always supported them. Have constantly been using their things as ingredients in our house tobaccos because we just think they're some of the best in the world, and certainly the best in America, and really have enjoyed working with them. And it'll be really sad, whenever as I've mentioned before, over the air, when they're the kind of company when you call to place your order, from McClelland. You talk the president is the person that picks up the phone. It's that kind of
It's
company.
like
and
it's that
and
classic American
it's
story.
Man,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, they're filling this stuff out, themselves. They're the ones that are putting the stuff in boxes, getting it to your door. If there's ever any issues, they're the family members that own this company. They're the ones that are fixing it for you. It's just it's incredible. We've got photos of people like our friend Russ that have they've been stocking up constantly on McClellan products here for the past couple days, and a couple good friends of mine in Austin. They've been going out raiding all the all the tobacco shops
Man.
for McClellan products, and I would, if you're a fan of what they've done and some of their products, I would frankly encourage you to do the same. I wish I had a big old pile of it here at the shop for you to come by, because we know a lot of folks out there want to keep some of that stuff for posterity. But anyway, McClellan Tobacco Company closing its doors here in late February, early March of 2018. And man, we wish the McNeils well. We really do. So
Yeah, and be I would just encourage you to just to be respectful as they're going through this transition. I know, over the last couple weeks, I take in a lot of the emails that come directly to
yeah,
the show.
yeah,
And we've had a lot of folks really kind of hounding us, trying to get more information out of this, trying to squeeze more, like, even some people saying, like, are you lying to us, or are you like are you, do you know something but you're not supposed to tell us? And
right,
it's like,
right.
first of all, what like how do you expect me to answer that question? Like,
Yes, I'm a dirty liar.
exactly. Like, The reality is that, the process of making this decision that they've made, I mean, it's an emotional one. It's business for sure, but when they've been in business for as long as they have been, as impactful, like it's the equivalent to losing a loved one on an emotional level.
No, it's right, and
I mean, it's not the same thing. I'm not trying to say it is, but it's that intense at times.
you're right, and I think, I'm speculating here, but, I know, you know, I don't know Mike and Mary extremely well, but I think I know them well enough to know that this is such a part of their life and identity to where they're probably having to grieve this, right? I mean, they're probably
Exactly.
working through the process of, it's probably incredibly disappointing for them to feel like we can't find the stuff that we require anymore to do this. Um, and even if we did, the government's against us on X, Y, and Z. Areas they make it so hard for us to do what we do. We're tired. We've put in a good run. It's probably hard for them to say, once and for all, you know what, we're going to take it to the house. So we've been really just kind of respecting their space, really kind of letting them work through it. I
That's
think
right.
as we've had conversations with them, we could tell that they were frustrated, but their party line has been, we're going to try to make this go, we're going to try to make it work, and we're exploring options and things like that. But in the end, we've just kind of listened to them, and they finally kind of come around and said, you know what, we're gonna take it to the house. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So their
Yeah.
legacy should be celebrated. I mean, it's a
Absolutely,
sad
man.
moment, but at the
Golly.
same time, it's also kind of a moment to look back and reflect on what they have done for the industry. There is a vacuum that's left, and there'll never be, another family like theirs,
Yeah,
another company like theirs.
see
But
that
at the
yeah.
same time, who truly knows what it means for the industry in the long run? Change is inevitable, and change has happened. Um, so I always try to look at everything forward
Yeah,
with
from a positive perspective, right? And
exactly.
so, look, the truth is, the pipe industry, and all the premium tobacco industry right now, this is a time of transition. We are, to some sense, without sounding like I'm putting on my tinfoil hat, we are to some degree, under siege. I mean, there's some issues going on that the premium tobacco industry is having to work through right now. But what's so beautiful is that people like Mike McNeil, blenders like that, have inspired the next generation of little kids like me to come through this thing, to get excited, to realize the beauty of premium tobacco and blending in artisan old style ways that are frankly lost to time in some parts of the
Mm,
country.
mhm.
And for us to pick up that torch and go forward, frankly, I would not be nearly, I may be in this industry, but I wouldn't be nearly as passionate about it, or as blessed by it, if it weren't for someone like Mike McNeil and Mary McNeil, and the work that they've done. And so, we want to honor that, but please know that the hope is that, by God's grace, we'll continue to carry this thing on. And frankly, we always talk about McClellan being the king of the American Virginia, right? Just those Virginia tobaccos that have all that natural sweetness, and that secret touch they use to process those, that just that signature ketchupy smell when you open one of those McClellan tins. And that the Virginias are so beautiful, but there's also that legacy of those soft English blends that they've just made such a staple in their uh, you know, uh, eh, in their catalog for the past 30 years. All the we talk constantly about the Frogmorton tobaccos. I have said so many times how Frogmorton has been the gateway drug to the non-aromatic tobacco. It's
Right.
if you're a aromatic pipe smoker and you're wondering, like, what is a non-aromatic tobacco like? Would I try that? Is that something like maybe I could get into? That tin of Frogmorton, that's always the first stop. I always say that's the gateway drug to the non-aromatic side of the equation, and it just has been for so many people. And it's we owe a great debt to what McClelland has done. They are just truly good people, and have made have made a great product.
And I've admired Mary from afar, and her marketing skills, her artistic touch to the
Yeah,
way that all of their products have been presented.
gosh,
And
absolutely.
it's been, I've said this so many times on the show, I can't even count. But I've wanted to have her on the show just to talk about her approach to really getting creative in the way that a lot of these tobacco tins,
Yeah, that's right.
were, guess that's the thing. New pipe smokers, their first sight of tobacco, it can be intimidating when you just see the blends in the jars, but when you see that little frog right there, or,
And you just
that
want to
way,
take him home with
you
you.
do.
You really
It's
do.
so
It's amazing.
she's got such a skill for that. So, as they go through this transition, we want to be supportive for them, also give them all the space, love, and support that they need. But Mary, if you're listening, I just hope you know that this is we've got an open seat ready for you, if you'd like to come on the show at any time.
That's right.
By all means, be it in a week, 5 months, or a year, or beyond. We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
So I just want to leave that open there too. That door open.
Absolutely. So, in tribute to McClelland, I'm smoking some Frogmorton Across the Pond tonight, which of course has that precious Syrian Latakia in it that went out of production about a year ago, and man, we're just thankful for it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, so it's interesting because tonight we've got an episode that was kind of teed up to also kind of fit a little bit with the tone that we're hitting right now, and that's kind of looking back in retrospective to someone who has been a huge influence on the pipe industry
that's right.
that we recently lost, and of course we're talking about Lars Iverson.
That's right. That's right.
Um, so John David, Lars.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So we'll take, a little bit to talk about Lars Iverson, of course, as our topic tonight. Recently, we had mentioned, I guess a couple weeks ago on the show that he had passed away. He's only 73 years old. You hear that nowadays and you think, man, that's so young. People living so long and all that. I just think to myself, like, man, 73 sounds young to me. But Lars Iverson, he died in early February. He had a battle with cancer, and it was significant for the pipe smoking industry because he was generally considered to be one of the top two or three, and certainly by a lot of people as the top living artisan pipe carver in the world.
Man.
And so you think about, okay, this is I mean, he's literally pipe smoking royalty. Okay, like if you could have a conversation about pipes, right? A year, if you could have that conversation a year ago and he wasn't in the top two of the people that you wanted to talk to,
Uh-huh.
then you didn't know what you were talking about. Like Lars Iverson, he was considered by so many as the greatest living pipe carver in the world, and we recently lost him.
You mentioned just royalty, and I think of, all right, so in the pipe smoking world, if we were Westeros, we'd have House Iverson, House Stokeby,
I know, right?
House McNeil,
Right.
there's all of these houses in the Game of Tobacco Thrones. Anyway, I just
That's
yeah,
right.
you're exactly right. A legend.
That's right, a real legend. Lars Iverson, born in 1945. The Iverson name, of course, is synonymous with perfection in pipes during the 20th century, and I mean that. I truly mean that. Of course, we in the United States we're familiar with these big carving houses, the Dunhills and Sheraton, and in maybe a slightly lower price point, things like Peterson and Savinelli are fantastic carving houses that have been making pipes for centuries. But one of the most premier carving houses, of course, that spawned out of Denmark during World War II was the Iverson family and their shop there in Denmark, and so Sixten Iverson, of course, probably considered to be the best artisan pipe carver in world history. I mean, just so far, as long as pipe smoking or pipe carving has been a thing, he's the best there ever was, and Lars was his son, and Lars Iverson, it came along at a time where his dad was kind of, starting to get into his prime, and learned that even as a little boy, right? And so, you're a little boy, you're growing up in the best pipe smoking. Or the best pipe carvers, shop in the world, and you're picking up odd jobs, right? Just to do, fill your pockets with some money to go buy candy or whatever. And for pocket change as a boy, Lars started doing things like cleaning pipes and doing minor repairs, and eventually even right after around 10 years old, getting into stem work and replacing stems
I'm
and
sorry.
stuff like that.
He was how old?
Around 10, and so this guy, as a very young boy, I mean, he's sitting here, kind of getting into the pipe smoke, the pipe carving, culture. He's just bathed in it, right?
Talk about a prodigy.
From the time he's very young, and so yeah, just picking that up, learning from his father. He sold his first pipe at age 16, which was just incredibly, an amazing feat. If you could find that pipe that he sold at age 16, gosh, you'd be sitting on a small fortune.
That's
right
not the
now.
gilded one that you got up on the wall over there.
It's not. It's not the gold pipe over there. That was actually one of Mr. Reeves's pipe who founded this shop. But yeah, if it was, it might be it might be at the auction house next week. I don't know, but anyway, so Lars Iverson, after he graduated school, he went back to work for his dad, Sixten Iverson. And what was so cool is at this time, Sixten Iverson was kind of he had come around to be generally considered to be the best. I mean, this is kind of when he hit his stride, right? Was in his golden days, and he at this time was mentoring his son Lars, and also Jess Chenoweth and Beau Nord, and Lars, Jess, and Beau. These are the three people of the 20th century that folks think, okay, if there was anyone ever close to Sixten Iverson in their technique and artisanship and all that, it would be these three people.
And I'm
These
assuming no relation.
no relation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just all happened to work for Sixten Iverson. Of course, Lars was his dad. But so anyway, these three kind of came. They were mentored at the same time, and it was so cool because in their young career, these these guys, Lars Iverson and also Jess, they were the only ones in the history of that workshop that were also allowed to stamp their pipes as an Iverson product. And so finally, he got the kind of approval from Pops, I guess, to be able to put that mark of the family name on there, which is pretty awesome.
That's huge, man.
Yeah. So, we talk a lot about, okay, so why we're saying, oh, he's so great, all these superlatives. Why is that the case? Well, Lars Iverson, his dad, Sixten, of course, was kind of the ultimate artisan carver, right? He's just making all these beautiful pieces. He's kind of pioneering new techniques as far as drilling and shaping and things of that nature, materials used for stems and accents and all these kind of things. And so where his dad left off, that's where Lars Iverson kind of picked up the mantle and really started to solidify some of those conventions about, well, what do you do with these different types of materials? At what point, are you supposed to do this kind of drilling or that, or use this kind of connection or that, or what's the philosophy of shaping, particularly on stems and shanks, like how does it feel in your hand, and why is it important to make it like this and not like that? This whole philosophy, these conventions that now our American pipe carvers just kind of take for granted. And he was the genesis of so much of that, which is really interesting. We've done a whole episode of of course, on the blowfish, the incredible pipe, the blowfish, which is just such a unique shape. And of course, the genesis of that was in the workshop of Lars Iverson.
Man.
And so the whole concept of following the grain of the briar itself and letting the pipe tell you where to go. It's just, or letting the wood tell you where to go to make this pipe. It's just really remarkable.
So him or his team, like for the blowfish in particular?
That's him. Yeah,
Man.
that was him. That's
Dude,
right. That's
talk
right.
about a legacy, like just that right there.
Yeah.
Like
a real legacy.
That's awesome. So,
in his heyday, he only made about 70 pipes a year, which you think like that. If you do the math, it's like, okay, you're doing one every few days, but like that's amazing.
Wait, 70
right?
70 pipe styles per year.
70 pipes
70
a year.
Pipes
so 70 pipes a year.
Really?
So, but that's the thing, if you're making that many pipes, and the cheapest one in modern day terms you're selling is what, at the small, the crummiest one of his pipes is going to sell for $2,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that's the quality that he's sitting here putting out right in
Man.
his heyday. And so,
Man.
what's cool, of course, is all the people that have subsequently mentored under Lars Iverson. Of course, the most famous person is his daughter, Nana Iverson, who is an incredible pipe carver in her own right. Nana is in her 30s, and of course, her work is now extremely coveted as part of that kind of, royal line of pipe carvers there.
Did we meet her in Chicago?
We did not.
Okay.
No, I wish we
Yeah.
could have. Yeah, that would have been incredible,
Yeah.
but we sure didn't. But he's quoted as saying a good pipe is 90% physics, 5% materials, and 5% magic. And I think there's something to that.
That's beautiful.
If you kind of take all that into account. But really cool statistic over his entire career. Think about all the all the pipes that this guy's made over his career. On less than 100 of his pipes, he has stamped a little fish. And for every pipe that he thought was completely flawless and as in perfect in every single way, he would stamp a fish on that pipe. Okay. Now, so think all the pipes he made in his entire career, okay, his entire life, he only on less than 100 of those pipes has he stamped a fish. So it's interesting, like unless all the thousands of pipes this person made in his lifetime,
Right.
less than 100 met the standard of perfection, and yet you and I, we would look at these pipes, and any of them would meet the standard of perfection.
Right. But to the master's
to the master
hand.
himself,
Yeah.
he's thinking like, and I would love to. I just read these stories of conversations with Lars Iverson, and I hear him looking over these pipes, and I would love to say why does this one get the fish and this one doesn't? This one, this one's just as beautiful. What's the difference? And he would be able to tell you, whether it's some kind of proportion or dimension or grain or the structure of the wood, or I don't know. I mean, there's no telling, but just really remarkable. So. A lot of the Iverson pipes are not generally available in America, and the reason is because the a lot of these real premium European carvers, they can just, and this has been true actually for the past 20 or 30 years, they can get such a higher price for their pipe on the Asian market.
Mhm.
And so it particularly happened. It's kind of interesting once the kind of Japanese economic boom happened. We're talking back in the late 70s and 80s when, Japan's kind of post World War II economy started coming online, and they're just cranking out all this stuff. And, there's real wealth building in that part of the world. They just start gobbling up these pipes. And so, these amazing pipe carvers from Europe, they could get maybe 2 and 3 times, for their work in Asia what they could get on the American market. And so a lot of times it's hard to find some of these really high end pipes here in the United States. But there have been some collectors of Iverson pipes in the U.S. and you will see them occasionally, but just not as common as they were. So anyway, the truth of the matter is, though, for everyone that has gotten into pipe carving, certainly in the United States over the past 20 years. Their main influence, whether they know it or not, has probably been Lars Iverson.
Man.
And that's just the effect that he's had on the whole standard of the industry, which is really beautiful. So
have you ever come across a fish pipe? Like, have you ever seen one of the fish pipes?
No, never have.
Do you know what the fish even looks like? Like
I don't actually.
Man.
Yeah, I'd love to see one.
Can I carve one into one?
your fish, I think, would it would be lacking.
Probably get away with a little Christian fish, but that's about it.
Right.
You know
well, yeah.
Well, so that's what I'm wondering. Like, if it's like that kind of,
I don't know, or if it's stylistic, or if it's got little fish eyes, or
if you've
scales,
got one,
or what.
If like you're listening right now and you've got one, send in some pictures.
I'd love to see some photos. If any of our listeners do have an Iverson pipe, we may have some out there that are serious enough collectors to have one. Love to see that. But they're stunning. They're stunning pieces. They really are.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I was told a story about a guy that was like gifted an Iverson pipe with the marking on it, with the fish on it.
Yeah.
And like he came in and to this shop in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And he never really smoked a pipe. He inherited this thing, and he goes in. The shop owner takes a look at it, sees what it is, And it's like, this is like a $3,000 pipe, right? Like,
He's like, I'll give you $350.
well, so the guy he was just wanting to know what to smoke with it. And so, he's
Yeah.
recommending all this like premium pipe tobacco and everything else.
Yeah.
The dude walks out buying cheap
I
cherry tobacco.
was about to say cherry blend, man. That's it.
Smoking in this Iverson pipe.
What are you going to put in your Fabergé egg? Well, of course I'm going to put some Bluebell ice cream in it.
Bluebell ice cream. Not even Bluebell. Let me get the off-brand.
No, yeah, like Turkey Hill or something,
Oh man.
So true, man. So true.
But that's the thing, with those gyms out there. What a great story. What great lore behind his legacy too. To think that there's kind of these perfect works of art that exist and probably exist in somebody's grandfather's collection up in the attic. That
I know.
No idea. What
it's amazing. They're not even sure what they have. It's just it's remarkable. So truly remarkable.
Yeah. That's great, man.
So a life well lived, and certainly an incredibly influential one through the artisan pipe community. Lars Iverson.
He was an innovator. I mean, it kind of goes back to what we started off talking in this show, man. Like, in the midst of be it in times of plenty or times where things are pretty tight, innovation is key. And Lars definitely represents somebody who is an innovator in the industry.
Yeah.
And man, we are glad and proud to be brought to you in part by some amazing innovators in the industry as well. Of course,
that's right.
I'm talking at the moment about our friends over at Missouri Meerschaum.
That's right. That's right.
If you think innovation and corncob pipe don't belong together, stop what you're doing. Check out their website.
You're not informed currently, right?
That's right, man.
That's right.
Missouri Meerschaum, man. They do some amazing things with taking the very concept that you may have if you're a new pipe smoker, if you've never picked up the pipe before and you think, oh, I know what a corncob pipe is. Check out their website. Check out what they've been able to do and some of the shapes, things that you would never imagine came from an actual cob of corn.
That's right.
That they've been able to do and do for such a great price.
That's right.
We can't recommend them enough for being such diplomats to the pipe community.
That's right. That's right. Speaking of diplomats, of course, these beautiful wedding pipes that were painted for my impending wedding are both Diplomat pipes from Missouri Meerschaum. And the great thing is you can actually get a 2-pipe Diplomat gift set. They've got a wonderful gift set. It's available on their website for $25.99 to very highly acclaimed pipes from their collection. And one is an apple. It tends to come with a bent stem. The other one is a billiard, which we have featured tonight. Very large, kind of tall bowl. Both high quality, long stems on the Diplomat pipes. Just real handsome pipes. Very simple. These are pipes that you really just you really want to have in your collection, and of course we'll use all the time. So workhorses of pipes. It's one of these things folks are constantly getting into pipe smoking here at the Country Squire and at other tobacco shops, and we're always putting folks on a high quality corncob pipe because we know they'll get a good experience. So
absolutely,
yeah. And with the Diplomat, you will get that.
And hey, if you've got a Diplomat, be sure to smoke it this week. Take yourself a picture of it, tweet it out onto the Twitter. It's a great way to let the good folks at Missouri Meerschaum know that you appreciate them for sponsoring this show.
Our friend Chris is like, this is the most depressing show ever. I want to die.
Well, hey, it's
hey, good news or bad news? We're here, man.
I told him, I was like, they can't all be Valentine's Day.
That's right.
This is and as we learned from Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, it's okay to feel sad sometimes, because little by little, you'll feel better again.
I don't know what you're referring to, but
in a couple of years, once the little John David Coles are running around, you'll get there.
I'll understand. Okay.
Pipe question of the week this week coming into us. This is from listener Joey. Joey wrote in, he said, as a new pipe smoker, is it better to stick with one tobacco and pipe so that you can learn that pipe and get a good rhythm? Or is it better to try a lot of different tobaccos and pipes that you can find your favorite? Man, that is a great question.
Really good question. Yeah. This seems to come up a lot, particularly this time of year. I think folks, winter and spring, this is the time of year we get a lot of folks that are like, you know what, I'm gonna try this whole pipe thing. They're just coming out of Christmas time. It's like, I see these pipes, I want to try a pipe thing, and so we get these kind of newbie questions. So I always recommend variety. Folks, if they get into it, let's say luck of the draw, you get a bad pipe on your first go around, and it's just one of those pipes that smokes wet and is hard to keep lit. There's two ways you can approach this, right? Well, you can keep practicing on that pipe until you get it just right, and that might be part of the equation that's recommended. But also, it may be a pipe problem and not a user problem as well. And so there's a real beauty in trying other pipes. I have some pipes that are just much easier to keep lit than others, and smoke much cooler than others, or better for certain kinds of tobacco than others. And you won't figure that out until you just try a variety. So, I always recommend folks, kind of check out some different things. I think, find in the pipe world, of course, it's easy to overdo it. That's the issue, right? So we've got, there's all this minutia, there's all this these distractions, there's so many things to get lost in, and once you finally think you got a grip on it, then something stupid happens, like you run out of butane, or you can't find your tamper, or just something silly. So just look at find a few options and try a few options. Generally what I recommend folks do is they pick them out a good pipe, something from Missouri Meerschaum, or maybe one of our house pipes here at the shop that is made of high quality briar, and then you're gonna just try kind of a smattering of different tobaccos, right? That's really where you want to see if the whole process at all appeals to you, right? If you can kind of get the concept down of packing it and tamping it and lighting it correctly and all these kind of things, keeping it lit, the rhythm and the cadence it takes to smoke a pipe, the patience it takes. And so, make just as long as you make sure you're starting out with a good quality pipe, the next thing to really, make sure you've got some good selection on is your tobacco. And, a lot of those tobaccos, we have talked about before, good starting tobaccos. Those are, great ones to get. Things that we have here at the shop, things like Cherokee or Black and Tan. Other, worldwide favorites, things like BCA or 1Q. These are tobaccos that are just easy to go. But check out some things. If, let's say, I'm not a fan of cherry, I don't like cherry. Well, try cherry tobacco. Try a bowl of one. See what you think. You might be surprised, and just try a variety and see what sticks. And I think you'll enjoy it more that way.
That's good, man. When you said things can kind of get out of control, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, because us in the pipes and tobacco world, we got that collector's mindset. What do you call it? The collector's addiction, or the collector's itch?
Yeah, it's like Pokemon. You want to catch them all.
You got to catch them all, and it can be dangerous if you don't have like all right, well, I'll get this set, or I'll get this set. Then you just end up like, well, okay, I want that pipe, I want that, I want them all, I want them all. So variety is good, but it can
overwhelm
you. You got to have set a budget, keep to it, unless you really want it, and then you can take a loan.
That's right. There's always banks for that.
Layaway. Great question, Joey. And hey, if you've got a pipe question a week, be sure to send it in to us, show@countrysquireradio.com. Quick fire question. Ow! All right, man. Oh man. Okay. Quick fire questions from a loyal club member. Of course, quick fire questions brought to us by the good folks at the Tin Society. More on that great service in just a moment.
Yes.
But yeah, so these are actually sent in from Andrew.
What? This is our dear friend. Actually, it's my dear friend, Father Andy, who of course is our local Greek Orthodox priest, and he is
big into the ouzo.
He's just kind of a larger than life person. He bought me lunch today, as a matter of fact.
Did he really?
He's bought me these spinach pies and these cheese pies and some lentil soup. It was it's Lent, so you got to watch what you eat and all that.
Always he's a giver. Yeah, man. He
is a giver. He's got a good heart.
Well, he
gives us some questions.
That's right, man. Okay, so here you go. You ready for this?
Yep.
Key lime pie or red velvet cake?
Gosh, man. Shoot. Red velvet cake by a hair.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Key lime pie is such a unique taste and flavor. You know what I mean? Like, I can take it in small doses and spread out, but I am always on board for some red velvet cake, especially with that cream cheese icing and everything.
Oh,
There's no B. Or oh man. Anyway, all right. Next one up. Ranch or comeback dressing.
Comeback dressing. I don't know if that's a thing in other parts of the country.
I was actually curious about
actually,
that.
I don't think it is. I think comeback dressing is maybe I'm wrong, but I think comeback dressing is a Southern thing. Yeah,
Okay.
it might even be a Jackson thing. I'm not sure.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, and I think because all the local restaurants here in Jackson, they make a comeback dressing. I think this actually kind of Andy may know this well because he, of course, is Greek and is in the Greek community here in Jackson. But I think it may have been a product of the local Greek community. We had all these amazing Greek restaurants in Jackson.
No.
Well, you think of places like the Mayflower, Primo's, other Dinneries. I mean, all these old Greek families, Kroshel's, that the Elite. These are all restaurants that over the past 100 years in Jackson, they're blue blood restaurants here, but they're all run by Greek families. And they were constantly. They all knew each other. They were all constantly trying to outdo each other. And I don't know. For some reason, I want to say that comeback dressing was kind of a product of that. I'm not sure. I wish we had a historian that knew the history of the comeback dressing.
I'm sure there's like a sauce historian
really
out
good.
there.
I'm sure there is.
Keeps up with all this.
I'm
kind of stuff.
sure there. But I'm a comeback guy.
So I actually had some comeback dressing earlier today. I took my oldest. This was the 5-year anniversary of me becoming a father, and I took my oldest out for lunch today.
That's great.
Yeah,
that's great,
dude. I became like father of the year. So we took her to Saltines, which is a restaurant here in Jackson.
Yeah.
Fantastic restaurant, and they got the entire staff out. And like the entire restaurant, in fact, to sing "Happy Birthday."
And how much did that cost? I'm just kidding. You're a
here's the
celebrity.
deal, like,
everyone would come out.
No, it's not even. It wasn't me, man. It was all the kid because wearing the big hat with the big number 5 on it and everything else, and just like a smile that would melt the world. I mean, like it was a fun deal. But anyway,
that's awesome.
She ordered the comeback chicken sandwich.
Oh yeah,
and and only took like the smallest bite of it. She never eats anything. So I ate it and it was delicious.
Yep.
Because that comeback sauce, man.
So good.
All right. Finally, New England Patriots or Philadelphia Eagles?
I'm going to go with the Eagles. And I don't have I really don't have a dog in the hunt, but the Eagles have more Mississippi State alumni as football players on there than the New England Patriots do. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles for that.
Now, my question is, do the Eagles have very large talons?
I mean, I would think so. They're Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because if the idea is you got and the New England Patriots are this like classic old school like revolutionary patriots.
That's correct.
Okay, so you got revolutionary patriots being attacked by Eagles with large talons. But then the Patriots got muskets.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
How accurate were the muskets during that era?
You're probably not very accurate, but I'm sure you could go hunting with them.
I mean, by the time the eagle attacks,
right?
I'll go with the Eagles, and I'll tell you why, man. I like that.
Do you even know what sport we're talking about here?
I'm assuming hockey. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I'm guessing hockey.
You're so worthless when it comes to sports. I love it. What I do love about this matchup is it's the most patriotic matchup ever.
Yeah, right.
The Eagles and
the
Patriots. That's pretty.
Next,
perfect.
It'll be the baseball versus apple pie.
That's right.
And it'll be a football game.
Is that time you called a baseball bat just a ball bat?
I did not do that. That was not me.
You did that.
I don't think I would have done that.
Yeah.
No.
Ball bat.
Great quick fire questions. Again, thank you so much, Andrew. And of course, quick fire questions brought to us by the Tin Society. Now, man, again, talking about innovators, the Tin Society as a new service has done something really great and been a wonderful you talk about kind of gateway.
That's right.
There's no better gateway here because with the Tin Society, you get samples of premium tobacco delivered to your door every single month in just that right sample size, enough to really get a sense of, do I like it? Do I want to buy this tin? The Tin Society has their back, and they can educate you along the way.
That's right. That's right. It's such a great opportunity just to try a smattering of tobaccos without having to commit to an entire tin. So we all know and love these tins. We talk about how shiny and beautiful they are. We want to own them all, want to catch them all. But a lot of times you don't want to commit to buying a tin, especially if you haven't tried it and aren't sure you would like it. And so the Tin Society, it's just a really novel concept. They give you the opportunity to sample 3 different tins a month. Each sample size has enough for a few smokes in it, and it gives you the opportunity to just reach in there, try these tobaccos, see if you like them, and then you get to know if you want to commit to a whole 10 or not. But also it keeps your palate fresh. It keeps new tobaccos in front of you. It keeps you constantly thinking, okay, well, what about this kind of tobacco? Well, I would normally never try that, but let me try it since I didn't spend a lot on it. And maybe if I blend it with this, I'll have some ideas there. And these are all things that a subscription to the Tin Society lets you do.
Absolutely. So head to tinsociety.com. Be sure to use the code Squire when you do. Squire, that's one word, obviously.
I don't know. In Mississippi, we could make it a couple words.
Right. Squire with a QU. We'll say that. But
Right.
Be sure to use the code Squire, because that gets you 20% off on your first month's order, not to mention a free Missouri Meerschaum pipe. Again, that's tinsociety.com. Use the code Squire to get 20% off on your first month's service. All right, man. Listener feedback. We've got some great listener feedback in. This first one from Corey.
Yeah.
Man, Corey wrote us like an essay.
Yeah.
I even had to kind of carve some of it out because some of it were questions that will kind of come into play in later episodes.
Yeah.
But man, what did Corey have to say?
Yeah. You're going to make me read it, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Beau and JD, greetings from Afghanistan. I'm an Army chaplain and in the 82nd Airborne Division on my first deployment and almost done. Man, congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks so much,
Corey, for your service, brother. I found your podcast a week or two ago and have been binge listening ever since. We hear that a lot. I feel like I've found my people, pipe smokers, Southerners, conversationalists, and Christians to boot. The podcast feels like an hour with old friends. So thanks for great content and warm atmosphere. By the way, I sent you a Facebook message with a picture of me smoking my custom Afghanistan pipe that I carved out here. Got the kit from Man Crates. So much fun. So Man Crates another subscription service. So also, I have a suggestion for the podcast. I grew up in the South, mostly going to Southern Baptist churches. We hear that a lot too. While around these parts, while I find it somewhat ironic now, it seemed perfectly normal as a kid to have an annual revival scheduled at the church. Remember those? I remember those revivals well. Maybe they should be brought back, maybe they brought in a special preacher, usually from across town, or a unique music director. And then we just did a church for 5 nights in a row, notwithstanding the obvious irony of scheduling a revival. Okay, Holy Spirit, would you mind showing up from July 6th to the 11th?
If that works for your schedule.
Yeah, we're going to get right. If we can schedule in here, that'd be great. I actually look back rather fondly on these times. So here's the idea. What if you did a Pipe Shop podcast revival in the summer, playing 5 special shows to be aired every night? Maybe pair it with giveaways and deals at the shop. Maybe do a special incentive for club members, new and old. Maybe do a prize for most referrals to the podcast. Maybe have an event or two at the shop to reward the pilgrims. Maybe even do a live audience event with questions and answers and a revival blend to sample. Man, now I want to plan my pilgrimage. I think there could be something here. I fully recognize that it would take a lot of work, but you guys are legends in the pipe world. So just ride that mystique. Sorry about the long email, kind of my style. I appreciate you guys and enjoy your work. Keep pressing. And that's from our friend Corey, all the way in Afghanistan. Man, dude, I would love that. I think it would.
It would kill us.
It would. I think it would be. I think I would be undone. I think I would literally be undone.
That'd be the end of the podcast. It wouldn't start off intending to be the end of the podcast.
Yeah, but by the time it was over with, I would be I would either be undone or an alcoholic.
Right. right. Whichever happens first.
Right.
Or both.
Maybe simultaneously.
maybe at the
I don't know. It could be fun. Yeah, the pipe revival.
I mean, I'll share this with y'all. We kicked around about 2, maybe 3 years ago, the idea of doing kind of like a pipe show, a pipe conference, or something of that nature, as kind of a good excuse for everybody to come to town. We did on a very much smaller scale, essentially that with our 200th episode, which was great, which was fun to have kind of some folks in here, but not nearly as involved as kind of what you're describing here. I don't know. I love live events. We've been very honored and blessed to be able to attend like the the Texas Pipe Show, and we've done shows at the Chicago Pipe Show, of course, the New Orleans Pipe Show, and it's a whole unique other kind of energy whenever we do those, because people can actually we get to pull people up on mic. I love the fact that this is a podcast that is very much kind of community driven. It's fueled by that, and so every single chance we are able to pull people. We've had people like just sit in on recordings. And they'll be like, well, hey, Russ is here. Let's get Russ on my.
I know, right? I know.
Let's just pull him on because I love that. So I'm never saying never, but yeah, that one might kill us. So but maybe something on the maybe half that.
Yeah, a little bit of a diluted scale.
Yeah, somewhere. It's definitely worth considering. And thank you so much, Corey. And again, thank you so much for your service.
Yep.
All right, man. We also had an iTunes review that came in from Taylor. Taylor said, favorite podcast, JD and Beau. I absolutely love this guy's show. Or let me try that again. JD and Beau, I absolutely love this show, guys. Still in the process of catching up on the backlog, but I'm loving every minute of it. If you smoke a pipe or have ever considered it, this show is for you. Random starting note, I just had shrimp and grits for the first time per our request. It was delicious. I'm from New York, so this isn't a common dish. I really appreciate the pointers and plethora of knowledge this podcast offers, and I love that you guys don't leave your faith in Christ in the shadows. Keep pumping it out, guys. We're loving it. Ba-da-da-da-da. And that's like he put that in there.
Yeah, no, he put that in there.
That in
yeah,
there.
We just want to be clear on that.
Man, Taylor, thank you so much. And shrimp and grits, you are welcome, sir. However, if you had it in New York, I can't promise you that you actually had shrimp and grits. I mean, there's some great restaurants in New York.
Did you see a bag of cream of wheat close by? Because if so, the grits are suspect.
Dude, yeah. So when I was in New Orleans for Mardi Gras, we had a jazz brunch at Mr. B's the morning after. Bacon wrapped shrimp and grits.
So the shrimp was wrapped in bacon, and then it was on the grits.
Oh yeah, with the red gravy. It kicked it up a notch.
I hope it came with like a cot in the back somewhere.
It was amazing. Man, after a night of throwing beads and everything, it was great.
It's awesome. Man, just a couple from Twitter. We've got apparently from our friend Chris, Jackson is the home of comeback sauce.
All right.
So he shares a link from Southern Living. Our friend Hoctor the Love Doctor, he says, being from Vegas, comeback dressing sounds like a lingerie store.
That's just inappropriate.
That's pretty great, I think. Our dear friend Russ, he says, my deep love for McClelland is well known, and as sad as this news is, I'm so very thankful for what Mike and Mary have given to the pipe smoking community over the last 40 years. There's no finer leaf on the planet. I wish them all the best, and I know we all echo that. So. Yep.
Absolutely, man. So I mean, we've seen the tweets coming in. We know it's been kind of a heavier episode, but you know what? Sometimes you need a heavier episode, especially when moments like this exist, and also when to lose the life of somebody who's been a huge impact in the industry, and a business and a company and a family that's been a huge impact in the industry. Of course, they're still alive and kicking and have many wonderful years ahead of them, and so but just not in this business,
not in the production side. Yeah.
And so it's it's a heavier episode because it's heavier subject matter, but hopefully it's also been a good excuse to look back and honor the legacies of those that we've discussed in this episode. And we hope that y'all consider doing that this week, just reflecting on the good that has existed, and
the good to come,
the opportunities ahead for sure.
Yep.
Man, we also want to encourage you guys to keep up with us throughout the week. By the way, you can follow us on Twitter at The Real Beau York is me.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at _Country Squire.
And of course, the show's Twitter is at Squire Radio, but all that information and more can be found at countrysquireradio.com, where we broadcast the show live on Monday nights. That's at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. That's 6:30 Pacific, at 9:30 Eastern. Again, that's countrysquireradio.com. Well, man, I should have mentioned that at the top of the show, but first thing tomorrow morning, I'm actually heading out to Pensacola. I don't know if we've got any listeners
what are you
out
down there.
I've got
we've got a few in that area. Yeah, I sure do actually.
I'll put it out on the Twitter, but no, I've got a podcast that I'm recording. We're doing kind of a quick and dirty 5 episodes in one day.
That sounds like the revival that he
was
about.
So that's the thing. Yeah,
Except it's all in one day.
It's all in one day.
That's great.
You knock them out hour after hour. That's what I've been doing with a lot of my clients is if I can kind of book them all in one day, then we've got the audio and we can process it, in the weeks following. But
that's good.
Yeah, man, it should be good. So hopefully I'll be able to perhaps connect with some of y'all that are out there, but I'll put something out on Twitter.
Sounds good.
All right, man. Well, hey, we need some rest. You definitely need some rest.
I do, man. I'm tired.
Let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
All right, guys.
Dude, we had fun. It's
Absolutely.
always great to see y'all. Y'all mean the world to us, and it's we always look forward to this time of the week.
Yeah.
I sure
Hopefully we didn't depress you too much. don't
Well, you know, we're
don't troll the messengers.
at least we do it together, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's the point.
community.
Yeah, I'd rather. I mean, if I was going to be sad, I'm going to bring all you guys down with me.
Bye, guys.
Good night.